The Pittsburgh Steelers may have won their preseason finale against the Carolina Panthers, but they didn't escape without a major scare on the injury front. In Thursday night's game, rookie defensive lineman Derek Harmon had to leave early with a knee ailment. Fortunately for Mike Tomlin's crew, it appears to be nothing too scary after all. According to a Friday afternoon report from Ian Rappaport of NFL Media, it's an MCL sprain for Harmon. #Steelers first-round DT Derek Harmon, who was ruled out with a knee injury last night, was diagnosed with an MCL sprain, sources say. He's expected to be out about a month, which makes him a candidate to begin the year on IR. But could have been worse. Steelers avoided worst-case scenario with Derek Harmon injury. Rappaport says the Steelers' prized 2025 NFL draft pickup is expected to miss about a month of action. Steelers first-round DT Derek Harmon, who was ruled out with a knee injury last night, was diagnosed with an MCL sprain, sources say. Rappaport's tweet began. He's expected to be out about a month, which makes him a candidate to begin the year on IR. This is undoubtedly a win for Pittsburgh in the grand scheme of things. With that said, it's still a bummer for both team and player. Harmon, the 21st overall pick back in April, could have benefited from hitting the ground running as a rookie. If Harmon does miss a full month, that could put him on the sideline for weeks 1 to 3 of the regular season. Pittsburgh plays the New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks, and New England Patriots in that span. Going on injured reserve would add Week 4's outing against the Minnesota Vikings to the total. IR candidates must sit out a minimum of 4 games. The latter contest is scheduled for September 28th. At the time of his injury against Carolina, Harmon had logged an assisted tackle. The former Michigan State and Oregon standout left the game on a cart, raising concerns, but head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed a knee sprain after the game. That's far better than a tear or even a full dislocation. In the 2025 preseason, Harmon racked up 4 tackles and a sack. Updated look at Pittsburgh's defensive line depth ahead of Week 1. Losing Harmon to start the season won't sink the Steelers' ship, even if things do become more difficult. The club's first round of roster cuts kept the interior of the defensive line intact for the time being. On the inside, Harmon is complemented by a multitude of players who can occupy some of the reps lost. Leading the way is star veteran Cameron Hayward. Hayward is currently in a contract dispute with the Steelers, and although it remains on the table that he could miss game time, that doesn't seem likely. He returned to practice in full capacity this week, participating in individual and team drills. Elsewhere, Keanu Benton is a 2023 second-round pick who has some tremendous underlying metrics as a pass rusher. Rookie Yahya Black, a 5th-round pick, and veteran Daniel Equaly are also in the picture. Someone like Isaiah Loudermilk or Logan Lee can also be accounted for. Along the edge, superstar TJ Watt is back on a hefty new contract and has some help as well. Whether it be rookie Jack Sawyer or a more proven option such as linebacker Alex Highsmith, the Steelers will be able to get after the quarterback. Having Harmon able to eventually get back into the fold this season is a plus. After missing practice Sunday with an upper body injury, Steelers defensive tackle Keanu Benton seems to have avoided something serious, participating in Monday's practice with a wrap on his left arm. Per Steelers Now's Brendan Howe. With rookie defensive tackle Derek Harmon expected to miss several weeks and at least 1 game with an MCL injury he suffered in the team's preseason finale, Benton's health status has become all the more important to the Steelers' starting defense. Benton is listed as Pittsburgh's starting nose tackle. The Steelers have just under 2 weeks until their season opener, a September 7th matchup against the Jets in New York. During this year's draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers made an effort to beef up their defensive line. The 2 most notable additions were Derek Harmon, selected in the 1st round, and Jack Sawyer, selected in the 4th round. Lesser known was Yahya Black, selected in the 5th round, but he's quietly made a push to be the most impressive of all 3 during the preseason. On the Pushing the Pile podcast on Monday, Mike Renner had some praise for Black. "I was floored by his tape," Renner said, "because at Iowa, never saw this. Never even saw the violence he was playing with on a consistent basis here this preseason. Feels like very much a Steelers sort of defensive tackle. Massive, long arms, and just wants to kick the ass of the guy in front of him. very impressed with him this preseason. A big part of the reason the Steelers decided on Black in the 5th round is his ability as a run stopper. He's got an absolutely massive frame and backs it up with plenty of strength. At Iowa, he was impossible to move, even with double teams. Pittsburgh hoped he'd add much-needed depth to the interior of a defensive line that really struggled to stop the run at the end of the 2024 season. Black is showing he can do that this preseason. However, he's also been better than expected when it comes to rushing the passer. The clip above is a good example. It's a simple push-pull move, and Yahya Black certainly has the strength to do it. However, when he was drafted, there were some concerns about his mobility. He's not facing the Panthers starters here, but his mobility is much more impressive than many expected. That combo of speed and strength can be dangerous, and Black is certainly moving better than many thought he would. It's very early, but so far, Black is outplaying his 5th-round moniker. He'll have a chance to continue doing so as the regular season begins. Derek Harmon injured his knee during Thursday's preseason game against the Panthers. The injury isn't major, but he is out for a couple of weeks and will likely miss the season opener against the Jets. That should give Yahya Black a bigger spot in the rotation. Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton will start on the inside, but Black certainly should play when they need a break without Harmon. It will be interesting to see if Black can translate his preseason success into the regular season, but he's been more than good enough so far. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to pursue a legitimate number 2 wide receiver. They recently brought in Gabe Davis for a second visit this offseason, but he once again left without a contract. However, a new receiver has entered the mix. Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver JAKOBI Meyers has reportedly requested a trade. JAKOBI Meyers recently met with Team Brass and requested to be traded, per me and Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport reports on X. The team, citing his value, said they had no plans to do so. Meyers and the team attempted to negotiate a new contract, but could not come to terms. Diana Rossini of The Athletic then noted that the Steelers are among multiple teams interested in making a trade. The Raiders, Steelers, Vikings, and Jets continue to scour the veteran wide receiver market ahead of roster cutdown day, sources say, Rossini reports. The Steelers have been connected to many names, but this one will garner the most fan interest. Meyers is coming off a tremendous 2024 season, catching 87 passes for 1,027 yards and 4 scores with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as his quarterbacks. Putting him opposite DK Metcalf would strengthen the Steelers' receiving core and give them a legitimate 1-2 punch.